JT&Dre Show back at it. Happy Monday to you. We are live and direct. JT, how you feeling?
Sure, man, I'm feeling amazing. What about you?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. Your man Alex Hormozi took over the web.
Oh yeah, killed it, man. Killed it.
I know you were at a conference. Shout out to Chris and the guys.
Yeah,
You got a chance to watch any of it?
man, I had to catch the replay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like you said, I was literally in the conference part of it. So and I had a VIP ticket and all, but I was like, man, I had to be where my boy was. So yeah. But I caught the replay of it, and the replay was dope.
So for anyone who missed it, Alex Hormozi, I think now he gets separated himself as the best internet marketer coach there is.
For sure. Guinness World Record as far as the book launch goes.
So he sold more books than he sold more books than some of Harry Potter's books, just for context. So he set the Guinness World Record for books sold in certain categories. And he had people, JT, bragging. So he had a book for $30, and he had 6,000. You get 200 books and some other gifts.
I spent 500. Go ahead.
You spent 500.
Yeah.
So people were bragging about paying the $6,000 and showing, oh, look what I got. Look what I got. Why can some people command that type of loyalty following? What is it about them, JT?
Yeah, I think what most people discount, or just maybe they just never, were educated on, is like it's more of who you are than what you do and say. So, like, for example, if me and Dre came out with a sneaker and we said we're only going to make 10 pairs of these sneakers, and this sneaker is going to be, $500, right? We might struggle to sell 10 sneakers at $500. If Michael Jordan was like, I'm going to come out with 10 sneakers, right? And these are the only 10 that's going to ever be in existence, but I'm going to sell them for $2,000. Those will be sold out as fast as they can make them. And it could be the exact same shoe. Like, it could look the exact same way and everything, but it's just because who Michael Jordan is versus who me and Dre is in the space, right? So I think Alex Hormozi was already well respected and well known as a 9-figure entrepreneur, operating a holding company that does over $200 million a year. So for him to say, hey, you get access to me if you do this, right? Okay, cool. People value that access to him because of what he's already done. Lots of times what holds us back that come from low-income environments is that we're so focused on wanting to get quick money, we never take a step back and say, well, how can I build a brand so that way I never have to worry about getting quick money again? So if you would have been able to hold your breath, as the saying goes, long enough to build up that demand for yourself, you could command such a premium that it's like, okay, oh yeah, Dre said we can get access to him for this, right? JT said we can get access to him for this, right? Okay, cool. $6,000 becomes a no-brainer, right? And I mean, I'm guilty of it. Well, it didn't happen, but man, a couple years back, shout out to my boy Casino. He knew some people that worked at Tyler Perry Studios. I was like, man, I give Tyler Perry $250,000 for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
Sit down, man.
Hold on. You said that?
Yeah, I said that publicly years ago. It never happened though.
Well, okay. Can we talk about that?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. What would make you pay Tyler Perry a quarter large? What would make you do that?
Man, it's not about the time. It's about, so my goal is sincerely to build a 9-figure business portfolio. And at the time, I was like, this is the only person I know that, has actually done it. Later I found out about the gentleman that owns all of the weather channels and all that other great stuff as well. But at this point in my life, I only knew Tyler Perry to be the only African-American media company owner that was at 9 figures. And of course, unlike many entrepreneurs in the education space, Tyler Perry don't have a course, a mentorship, a one-on-one. So I'm like, okay, you can't give him $500 or $2,000 or $10,000 to learn from him. So I'm like, hey, look, $250,000 on his terms. If it got to be a Zoom, we'll do a Zoom. I got to come to Tyler Perry Studios. I come to Tyler Perry Studios. I don't care. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. He got from 1 to 1:30. Hey, whatever his terms was, like, I was definitely down to pay it, because what I want people to understand from this is that, like, you got to understand that when you have a problem and a dream, you need a person, right? Because shout out to Marcus Y. Rozier, he says that, you know, without clarity, lots of things we call dreams are just a decision. Yeah. So I said, okay, well, look, this gentleman already knows the way. Now, I probably can't do it exactly how he did. I probably can't do plays and this and that. Maybe just the window of time where that was the right way, that's no longer past, but he's still doing it today. So he could be able to tell me, okay, present day, this is what you need to do. And of course, I still got to be able to execute on it at my level. I can't do what a billionaire does, but if I could get that billionaire blueprint for $250,000, I low key stole it, right? If he gives away $1 billion blueprint for $250,000.
Now, what made you automatically offer 250? You didn't start at 50. You didn't start at 25. You went right to 250. What made you do that?
Man, because it has to be enough for him to even acknowledge, right? And I don't even, you know what I mean? Like, shoot, I offered Country Wayne $1,000 a minute, and he said no. So, I mean, if Country Wayne said no, and not, this is not a diss. I think Country Wayne is phenomenal. I think that he gonna reach whatever. I don't know his financial goals, but I think that he'll reach whatever his financial goals are as well. But I will say that while Country Wayne is amazing as a businessman, as an entertainer, just with all due respect, Tyler Perry may be another level. So if Country Wayne wouldn't take, and I had the cash, Country Wayne came to Columbia, South Carolina. Me and some other close people to me, we had front row seats, and we paid for the meet and greet. During the meet and greet, right? I showed them like real money. Hey man, it's a line behind me because it's the meet and greet line, so of course you can't do it here. And it's music playing too, so I know that wasn't the right time. But I said, hey man, look, I'm willing to give you $1,000 a minute. I don't care if you got 10 minutes or 30 minutes. You tell me how many minutes you will give me. I'll pay you up front. Let's do it right now. Like, you already here. So I was, hoping, hey, the meet and greet finish. Hey, you got 10 minutes. You got 20 minutes. You got whatever. Quick 20 bands. Then he go off to the next spot. Real nice guy, though. Gave me the nicest no I ever heard in life, right? So great guy. But yeah, but all of that to say is that, man, if Country Wayne wouldn't sit down for $1,000 a minute, right? Of course, I can't expect, a billionaire to sit down with me for $1,000 a minute when a multimillionaire wouldn't do it. So I felt like $250,000, even though I know that wouldn't change, that wouldn't improve Tyler Perry's life at all. It might do something, right? It might get him another car that he wanted, or whatever he wanted to do with the money is up to him. What I think that we get hung up on is that people are just hear the price and not understand the value of it. So they'll hear $1,000 a minute and be like, that's a lot of money. $250,000 for 30 minutes, that's a lot of money. But my thing is the same people that say that stay in a house that might cost more than $250,000. That's not cash flowing anything to them. It is appreciating, depending on where they are, a certain percent. But man, you're not getting any cash flow. You just getting appreciation. What if a billionaire can show you how to build your business house in a way that cash flows to you 7-8 figures a month, right? And on top of that, it appreciates to the point where you get the 9 figures. So yeah, so I was like, man, yeah, the value of it exceeded the cost by far. And yeah, so yeah, at least at that time, I don't know if we didn't make enough noise about it, or it was just not enough money. But time will tell, maybe we'll get stuff together, we'll get lined up, and maybe in the future, a few years, we might be in position to say, hey, $1 million for 30 minutes. Like, hey, something will catch his attention. If we even, maybe we figure out things along the way. But hey, I'm committed to it.
I love it. So let's play a game. So who would you pay $25,000 to sit down with for an hour?
Man, man, I gotta pull up there because now I want to call his name. I see his face in my head. Okay. All right. They wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time. And you guys know we didn't even
Dan Martell.
Yeah, Dan Martell. Easy.
You'll pay $25,000. Okay.
Dan Martell, easy.
Who would you pay $100,000?
100,000. I would definitely say Grant Cardone, easy.
Okay. Who would you pay $250,000? Well, obviously Tyler.
Tyler Perry for sure. Yeah.
Other than Tyler Perry, who would you pay $250,000?
Who's the brother that owns all the news stations?
Byron Allen. He just sold.
Byron Allen. Yep.
Okay, $250,000. Who would you pay $500,000?
Man, now we're up there with like the Oprahs.
Okay.
Yeah, because what I'm saying for anybody that's watching is like, so the first few names I named, Dan Martell is an expert in SaaS. I want to get to a point where I start owning the software that we use in our business. So, and we can also sell it to other business owners. So it's not like I'm just randomly throwing out names. If we can like just make it make sense real quick. So I would spend money to meet with Dan Martell to understand how can I own not just the intellectual property, the media that I create, but how can I own the software that's on the back end of it as well, right? So Dan Martell for that, right? Then we went, up to Grant Cardone. Whether you hate him or love him, Grant Cardone has been an effective marketer for decades. So, and he leverages social media. Grant Cardone was the first multimillionaire that I saw on social media that cut off ads. He didn't want to be a part of the YouTube partner program. He might be in it now, but he was saying that, he getting so much attention. He don't want nobody to advertise on his platform unless they come through him. So he cut off ads, and now this doesn't work anymore. Now YouTube makes you. I mean, you don't got to take a cut of the money, but they're going to run ads regardless if you that big. So you might as well take your cut of the money. But that's why I would want to talk to Grant Cardone just to know about marketing, growth, whatever, because I know some people might hear these names and say I hate them for this, and this, right? Tyler Perry, Byron Allen, they've already done 100 times over what I'm trying to do once, right? Now, Oprah, I still, without knowing her personal situation, financially speaking, I still would say Oprah is probably still a step above them in media, right? So when I'm throwing out these names, the value that I want you guys to get is not just hear the name, but understand why did I say that, okay? I want to own my intellectual property, the actual media that I create in my media company. I also want to own the back-end tech that we need to support that as well, right? I just want to be as independent as possible. And, there might be other companies as well that's like, hey, look, we wish we had these capabilities as well. Boom, bring that in.
So who would you pay $1 million plus?
Man, now we're at like Mr. Beast.
You pay him $1 million?
Yeah, and I know people will say, why would you give Mr. Beast more than Tyler Perry and Oprah when they probably got more money than him? As far as social media goes, because media is wide, right? There's newsletters that are worth millions of dollars. You know what I mean? So I think there's nobody, at least to my knowledge, that has excelled in social media beyond a Mr. Beast. Now, his genre of content is totally different than my genre of content, but I still think that the guy's a genius. Now, whether you watch his videos and hated him or love him or whatever, I think just his social media mind is elite. So I definitely would say now, like $1 million is probably the most I would pay anybody. So that now we're talking about the Mr. Beasts, the Dwayne The Rock Johnsons of the world, right? Whoever's the biggest of the biggest on the platform, oh, for sure, because they're making more than that anyway, right? And when we're not throwing out these numbers just like it's monopoly money, you got to understand that the higher up the ladder they go, there's a distance between you and them. So imagine this illustration, right? If Dre is climbing Mount Everest and he's halfway up and you're at the bottom, and you want Dre to start you off Like, hey, let down the rope, and I want to start off at the level you're at, or I want to start off at least halfway up between where you are and I am. Like, you've already did the work to get up this far up the mountain. Like, man, hey, drop down something that allowed me to get up there quicker than it took you. All of the pain, the time, the injuries, the losses, the whatever. I'm trying to expedite my journey up the mountain and see you at the top, right? Hey, you can't whisper that. You can't get a one-on-one with Dre and say, hey, man, I give you $15. We only gonna talk for 20 minutes. So, man, hey, that's like you getting paid $45 an hour, you know, and all we did was have a 10-minute conversation over the phone, right? You can't say, hey, I want a VIP day with Dre where I come spend 4, 6, 8 hours with Dre and I see how he runs his business and how does he have a work-life balance, because Dre be in the gym too. It ain't like Dre is just a notary all day, every day. So, like, man, how does this brother be a successful entrepreneur and he's not working 20 hours a day, right? How does he have a life and is able to go out to networking events and etc. as well, right? So you can't say you want a VIP with Dre, a VIP day with Dre, but you only gonna spend $100. Like, nah, like, man, he can make more money without giving away his whole sauce to you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Who would you pay? Myron Golden?
Oh, we already did that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I was just naming people we haven't paid yet.
Oh, how much did you pay him?
55.
Ooh. Dr. Dennis Kimber, would you pay him?
I gotta see him. I don't know if I know that brother.
The Wealth Choice.
Dr. You say Dennis or Kenneth?
Yeah, Dennis Kimbrough. That's from my man Rod in the chat. What's up, Rod?
Dennis Kimbrough. I probably know his face if it pops up.
It's fun fact, my man Rod, he's in a notary program. He had last year he had a $550 or so notary appointment.
Shout out to you, brother. That's amazing. Yeah, I don't know this brother, man. Like, so I'm not saying I wouldn't pay him. I just don't know him. Yeah.
Okay, so you know the book about Napoleon Hill. He did a black version of it.
Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, probably about
Outwitting the Devil. Oh, yeah, Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, probably about 20 years, or maybe a little more than 20 years ago. Then he made a book called The Wealth Choice that was a hit about 15-ish years ago. So he's someone to check out.
Yeah, see, I'm going to put that in my Audible right now.
Yeah, he works at Clark Atlanta University as well, too. Shout out to Dr. Dennis Kimber. He would actually be a great guest. Any questions for me, JT?
Oh yeah, for sure. Hold on, give me 1 second, because I'm a man of action. So the Wealth Choice, I'm getting it on Audible right now. Right, and the lesson I want you guys to take away from this is, like, man, when you given an opportunity of a lifetime, you got to take advantage of it within the lifetime of the opportunity. So lots of people will be like, oh man, let me write that down, or okay, let me put that in Google. Nah, I went straight in. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see it, but I went straight into Audible and got the book immediately, like no hesitation at all. Right? Okay, so over this weekend, one of the most powerful things that I heard, and it's not just this weekend, but I keep hearing this, so I want to bring it to this discussion as well. Right? Is they were talking about identity. They were talking about you could never out earn your identity. So you say you want to be a millionaire, but you still are operating like the person that gets paid $65,000 a year, because you are currently the person being paid $65,000 a year, right? Do you think that identity is a real thing that contributes to your income? Because a lot of people that are not on a certain financial level like you, they feel like, just give me the tactics, just tell me step 1 through 10 and I'll make the money that you make. Does somebody have to change their identity, right? Are you the same Dre you were in New York or wherever you lived before it was Atlanta? I don't know if it was Yep.
I say identity, but I would say more belief system.
Yep.
Those words could probably be intertwined. But you will never out-earn your belief system.
Yep.
Like, the worst is when someone wants to coach people, because I get this question all the time, literally all the time, even more than notaries sometimes. How do you make money online, Jerry? You've been doing this for so long. You ain't on none of those scammer lists. How have you been doing this for so long? All right, cool. Here goes 2 steps if you want to work it. So after talking to JT, I raised my price to $3,500 a month to work with me one-on-one, right, for 4 to 6 hours a month. $3,500, that's the starting rate to work with me a month. I said, okay, great. I can help you. Obviously, they're coming to me because they know that I have results, right? Then sometimes they're offended by, you're going to charge me? I'm like, yeah, like you're going to make money. You trust me. You come to me for advice. And they don't want to pay.
Yep. Let's stay on that moment for a minute, right? Because I think some people will just they're unknowingly selfish because they're in financial pain, so they don't get it. They're like, you're up, I'm down. Why not, extend the olive branch, brother? Understand this, right? If any highly successful business person who you admire their business model, right? You don't got to agree with everything they do, but you would like to make money like that person makes money. They're doing you a disservice if they allow your excuses to be a reason why you can still get the value without the value exchange being mutual. So, for example, if somebody wants to get mentored from Dre, he charges $3,500 to give you the sauce, and you give him a sad story, so he gives you the $3,500 sauce for free. Guess what's going to happen when you start that business and people give you the sad story for your $3,500 sauce? You're going to give yours away for free, right? Why? Because Dre allowed you to believe that you could be successful in business by giving away the sauce for free because he gave it away to you for free. So now you're thinking, I could give it away for free here and there and still be successful. And guess what they're going to say, right? After they constantly give the sauce away for free, and then they look up 12 months from now and they don't have the success that Dre has, they're going to say that doesn't work. That was a scam. I wish I didn't give him that $3,500, right? Because Dre allowed you to believe that because he did this for you, that you can do this for other people and be successful, right? Because Dre's been in business so long, you don't know, right? What if Dre closed 10 people today for $3,500 and Dre already had it in his business model that for every 10 people that I close, I help the 11th person. You don't know that you're number 11. Dre just showing love, right? You don't know that Dre can still write off the $3,500 value that he gave you, right, for the services that he rendered as well. So all you know is Dre let you get it for free because you had a sad story about your mama, your kids, your life, your credit. Woe is me, right? And now you think that that's okay, right? Because people will be like, hey, do you ever sponsor people? Yeah, but typically you sponsor people that you know, not total strangers, right? Yeah. Hey, do you ever do scholarships? Well, typically a scholarship is based off of merit. If you haven't done anything, right, now you expecting somebody that doesn't know you have done nothing to deserve a scholarship, right, to just give you out, that for no reason, right? So I want you all to understand is that in business, I learned this years ago, and it's still shocking when I see a lot of people still haven't learned this lesson, so learn it today. In business, you don't get what you deserve. I know that doesn't sound like what you want to hear, but I'm going to just tell you, as somebody that's been a full-time entrepreneur since 2014, right? You don't get what you deserve. You don't even get what you want or need. You get what you are in business, right? If you're somebody that always complains about price, you're going to attract customers that always complain on price. If you're somebody that's cheap in your pricing, you're going to attract cheap mindset buyers, right? Here's what sucks about cheap buyers. The cheap buyers want more than the rich buyers. Have you ever noticed that? Yep.
JT.
Yep.
The people who want you for free want more than the people who pay you.
Absolutely.
And I would even so the sob stories, at least I understand that. What bothers me more, JT, are the arrogant buyers to where they have the money, they don't want to pay me because for whatever reason, but they want me to teach them how to get people to pay them. Arrogance, total nonsense. Yes,
yeah.
and
I'm
that's
not even
why
giving a pass to the sob stories because even though I don't know your whole life story, I'm sure you've had situations in your life that any normal human being will say, "Hey, man, that brother going through it. If anybody deserved, some help at this point in his life, give it to Brother Dre at this moment, wherever that could have been at in your life." But you still had to thug it out. You still had to figure it out. Nobody came and dropped the bag. Hey, man, I see your situation. I heard about your situation. Here's $10,000 to get back on your feet. Right. So you had to fight your way out of it to get back to this level. Right. And what most people don't understand is that season of pain that you're in is a lesson. If I never would have went homeless, I would have never valued, systems and structure and organization and business. I grew too fast, right? So I thought, man, hey, look, I'm really good at selling myself, selling my business services to bigger companies. And then I would just go hire any Tom, Dick, and Harry that was nice. Like, if we had a cool conversation, we laughed, I felt like you were a cool person, you're hired, right? That's not business, right? So just because you're a good person, that's not the prerequisite for making a lot of money. Right. Now, I'm not saying you should be a bad person, but I'm telling you that those are mutually exclusive. So just because you get up, you go to church, you exercise, you're in the best shape of your life, that doesn't mean that you'll ever make 6 or 7 figures. Those are good things to do, and that's good things to have. But you got to understand in life, there are standards. And here's what a lot of people in that moment mess up. JT don't make the standards. Dre don't make the standards, right? Life already has standards. Life already says, for example, right? Hey, if you don't take care of your body won't take care of you. Now, depending on your situation, you might have, decades before it catches up with you, right? Might be catching up with you already. All right. So, hey, after this meeting, guess what? I'm about to switch out my Fitbit because this one almost dead. I'm going to go do 10,000 steps, right? I don't care what the weather is, hot, cold, rainy. I'm going to go do 10,000 steps. Then I'm going to go do 10 miles on my bike. And then I'm going to start my work day, right? So my thing is, hey, look, early on in business. Oh, here's something that, man, when I heard Alex Hormozi say it during the launch, I said, Alex changed my life for free. He don't even know it. And it's 100% true, but sometimes when somebody articulated better than you, it gives you the breakthrough, right? So, man, Alex Hormozi said, in life, you always pay for everything you have and everything you don't have. You pay with time, or you pay with money, right? Everything you don't have, you pay for that with ignorance because you didn't know how to get it or that you needed it, right? The currency you use to pay for everything you have and everything you don't have is whatever currency you value the least. So, for example, a lot of people value their time less than they value their money. So anytime there's an opportunity to do something in less time, but for money, they'll always choose to do it in more time and less money because they value time the least, right? Whereas highly successful people, they value time more than they value money, right? So they will rather pay you in money than in time, right? There's somebody that would much rather try to watch YouTube videos and stitch them together in over 12 months, build a 6-figure company when they could have built it in 90 days, right? 90 days. I didn't even know business when I first started. And in 30 days, I went from $500 a week to $2,000 to $3,000 a week, right? But I was working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, and then I still ended up broken homeless on the side of Interstate 95, right?
So if you could have paid somebody, you could have avoided all that.
For sure, because what you see is okay, we're going to nerd out a little bit, right? So you see in science, they got something called a phenotype and a genotype, right? One describes how something looks, something else describes what makes up what you see, right? So that'll be the end of our science class. But the reason why I use that analogy is in business, right? You're looking at what you see, but you don't understand what makes it up. Why does it look like that, right? So from the outside looking in, you can see, okay, why does JT and Dre do a show every week? Right? Why does Dre post so much on his other social media? Why does JT post so much on his own social media? Right? Because if we were to audit some of the most successful people, right, in recent years, they've made the bulk of their wealth off of personal brand. Now, could you find somebody that comes from generations of oil and generations of this and that? For sure, right? A lot of the old money was pre-social media. So you probably do know old people that are rich that don't sell courses online. You probably do know old people that got rich off of something else other than social media. People will say that like that's an excuse to prove that you can't make money or you shouldn't make money online, right? If you were to think about it, those people were just born prior to having the opportunity, right? Me and Dre wasn't born during the time where we could buy land dirt cheap in the middle of nowhere and granddad can dig a hole to plant the garden one day and oil shoots up, right? We just wasn't born during that time. We was born during the time where we could take a phone or a camera or a tablet or whatever you have and jump on a free social media platform and build a 7-figure empire, an 8-figure empire, right? Back in the day, grandma and mama, depending on the age of your mom, but my mom's a senior citizen. Back in the day, grandma and mama said something wrong with you if you talk to yourself. Now, it's kids that'll go in their room, lock the door, put a camera up, put a ring light up, talk to themselves, dance with themselves all day long, right? Upload it to the whole world and make more money than grandma and mama ever did doing what mama and grandmama told us was crazy growing up.
Shout out to Brother Dubs.
Question for, I don't know how many people watching, right? So we did talk about identity, right? And you said
we did. I actually want to go over some of the points, JT,
go ahead.
that I took from the Alex Hormozi launch, and I want to share them. So, me and my boy Anthony Harzog. Do you know Anthony Harzog?
Nah.
Him and his wife have a cleaning business in the Cleaning Business Academy. Great guys, great guy, and his wife's wonderful as well. 2 daughters, wonderful couple. They're
in Atlanta.
So they're in Dallas, Texas area, the DFW area. They're from New York. So Alex, Anthony, and I were exchanging notes about what we learned from the book launch, and I want to share it with the crew. So here go a few things. He has a binder that he was selling with his top offer, and I thought that's a really great idea because it gives people something tangible to take away that they can put and mount on their wall. I like that. Like you have your card game, have your board game, something tangible and physical that people can that people can take with them. He had the 3 green guys, or might have been more than 3, but he had something fun and energetic, and they were green, which is a money attracting color. Subconsciously. I thought that was funny. You can't reach this scale without systems. You can't outscale your systems. That's what it is. You can't outscale your systems. So some people are always hustling because they never take the time and the money and put it into developing their process. So they're always hustling. Losing scenario. When you get old, will this matter? That's very deep. When you get old, will this matter? Big one that I got, JT, get more MRR, monthly recurring revenue. I need more of that. Get more MRR. 7, people, this is big too. People don't care about the time as long as their needs are met. So you could have a 1 month, you have a 1-year mentorship or a 4-year mentorship, and you might say, well, the people will want the 1 year more. Not necessarily. They might want the 4-month more because it still gets them the results in a shorter time frame. So we, as individuals, might say that they need that we want to give them the year. And look, sometimes they need the year, but sometimes they might not. So that might be a thing that we think that the client wants that they don't really want. Let me ask you this: if you could have a 4-month mentorship or a year mentorship,
4 months all day. And I would even say the people that say they want a year,
usually don't.
Yeah, they don't really want it. So it's fear. So it's hard to value something you never had. So they're worried, like, well, what if I don't catch on in 30 days, right? Where the mindset should be, okay, I'm going to do whatever it is. Like, so I went to the military. Basic training is a set amount of time. And when you go to basic training, you don't say, well, what if I don't learn this? And I went to Marine Corps basic training. You guys might see the little Marine Corps thing there, right? Long time ago, I was a Marine, right? So, hey, you don't say, okay, this is 3 months. What if I don't get it for 3 months? I wish basic training was a year, so that way I feel like I really understand, how to do this. No, right? They immerse you in an environment and say, this is the standard, and you're going to meet the standard because we're going to make your life so bad. And the only way you're going to escape this life is if you meet this standard, right? Lots of times people will come to us as if their life is already, oh, man, my life is so bad. I got to change my life. But then when you put them in the environment to get out of that quickly, right? They're not like the recruit at basic training and say, yeah, I'm going to meet this standard so I can graduate this level of my life and go on to the next level, right? Then they turn it into like, well, my life ain't that bad. Like, I can go through this in 12 months, right? It's more of a fear response than like logic. So I think it's up to us as entrepreneurs to not even cater to making this take longer than it should. Just like, look, hey, man, here's the standard. Because I think it's a disservice, my own personal opinion, right?
Yep.
Lots of times we allow people to believe that to get to your goal takes endurance when sometimes it takes speed.
Ooh.
So if, for example, right, I don't know, well, do you recall when you first heard of Bitcoin? Maybe you didn't know what it was, but do you remember the first price you ever heard Bitcoin being when you first heard about it?
It was a few $100s.
Yep.
I don't remember that price. Yeah, a few hundred. Yep.
I remember when Bitcoin was $300. I was in the Marines. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. Bitcoin was $300. You had to go meet somebody in person and give them $300 in cash, and then they would put it on your computer or on a thumb drive, right? So it was almost like some secret drug deal, right? So I was in Japan from 2009 to 2011. So it was sometime during then, right? But I'm in Japan and I'm like, okay, what is it? They was like, it's going to be like a new money. And I'm like, well, what can you buy with it? Back then, unless you were like buying stuff off the dark web, there was no utility. There was no use for Bitcoin, right? You couldn't go buy some pizza with it. You couldn't go buy, pay your rent with it. Like most legitimate establishments didn't even know what it was, and they wasn't going to take the risk of accepting that. They rather just have cash, right? So like I wasn't going to spend $300. I was an employee, of course. I was in the Marines, right? So I wasn't going to spend $300 of my hard-earned money for something that I don't know what to do with it. But if we fast forward to today, right? Like, man, that would have been one of the best investments you ever made. In hindsight, I should have took all the money I had. I don't care if it was $3,000 is all I had to my name. I should have bought 10 Bitcoins. Right? If I would have took $3,000 in 2009, 2010-ish and put my last dime in the Bitcoin and just, thugged it out until I got more money, man, you'll be a multimillionaire now, right? Yeah. Just because of that investment, right? And the whole point that I'm making here is not, getting too far on the crypto wave, is letting you know that some opportunities in life require speed, not endurance. You make the assumption that everything you want in life is you got to do it for 20, 30, 40 years. You haven't been doing it long enough. But with AI and other technology moving as fast as it's moving, right? Now you need to start asking yourself, is this an opportunity that requires speed, or is this an opportunity that requires endurance? And don't assume that everything takes endurance, right? Back in the day, just using YouTube, because you guys here are watching YouTube, right? I built a business with, somebody else. I exited that business. They still run it, but I'm no longer a partner in it. We built a business to $250,000 in 8 months. Whoa. And we built that business by coming on YouTube, telling people, hey, here's the business, here's how it makes money, it has built-in customers, and then we dropped the link. There was no sales funnel, there was none of that fancy marketing stuff that you got to do now with lead magnets and funnels and nurturing and automations. It was a link, and the link took it to his job website, right? He had his own business, right? He was an electrician. You went to an electrician website, and he just made a new appointment on his electrician website for you to book a $500 service, and that's how you bought tickets to come to the business conference.
Oh, wow.
If you tried to do that today, they're going to say it's a scam.
Yeah.
But back then, it was so new that we was like, well, how we going to sell? Do we go to Eventbrite and make the tickets? Or like, okay, Eventbrite charges this much, this much. He was like, well, I'm an electrician as well. That was another one of his businesses. Well, I could just make it like they booking an appointment for me to do some electrician work, and usually it's free, but I could set it for like $500, and we'll just tell them, because when you book the tickets, you pick whatever day you want. It was super ghetto. All right, you be like, okay, I want electrician work tomorrow, but we were like, hey, the conference is in like 2 weeks, so just pick whatever date, give us $500, and then what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll send you an email later telling you, the time and address to be at. Right? If you did that today, they will call you a scammer. They're like, man, I clicked the link. Dre took me to an electrician website, and I had to book an appointment for August the 21st, and the conference was September the 15th. But the reason why I'm saying that is that there was a time where you didn't even have to be good at marketing on social media. Social media was so new that all you had to do was genuinely have value, right? Now, to build that same business, if you wanted to make $250,000, because we built that business with $0, right? $250,000 in 8 months at whatever Stripe fee is. That was pretty much our only fee, right? So we were at over 90% profit margins. All right. Fast forward to today, to build that same business that fast would cost you conservatively $50,000. If you're good. If you're not good, if you're average, it'll cost you $100,000 to build that same business that we built for $0 at over 90+% profit margins, right? So, and that's just a real life example of certain opportunities. And if you assume that it takes endurance when it takes speed, you'll manifest that truth in your business, because everybody that knows the speed is going to go ahead and get theirs. Eventually, the market is going to correct itself, and now you are going to be in an endurance race where you could have got your money, right? So, man, I own 8 real estate properties. I'm 35, right? So I already took 8 properties off the board, and I haven't bought property in like the last 2 years. So that means that I bought my last property at 33. I bought my first one at 29. So in 4 years, I took 8 properties off of the board, right? There's somebody that was still paying interest on their mortgage towards paying off their house. Why? Because they thought that it takes endurance to pay off your house, not speed.
Whew, that's good. That's good. JT.
I got a question for you, but go ahead though.
No, shoot.
All right. So, okay. How many income streams? And we're gonna target men, right? If you're an able-bodied man, right? Not saying that I don't care how much money you make, but if you don't have, a mental deficiency that prevents you from thinking and walking and just doing basic functions, right? How many income streams do you think the average man should have today?
Good question. Could be a little tricky because sometimes people get too many and lose track. I think a safe number is 3 to 7.
Yep.
A safe number is 3 to 7. And I do count, I know some people don't, but I do count the stock market as an income stream for people if they're reinvesting their dividends. So 3 to 7, I think it's a good number.
Yep. And I just need people to hear that out loud, because of course these aren't pre-framed or scripted or anything. It's just raw. So I used to think the number was 2 because most people have a 9-to-5 job. And I was like, well, you need one income stream that you own outside of, you know, that 9 to 5. But I've upped it now to like, you need at least 4 income streams, right? Like, so if you're, and of course, we're talking about for men, because women have different standards in life, right? This is not me being chauvinistic or whatever the word is, right? It's just the reality of the situation. What the world expects, not talking about your little Facebook group that's like, hey, you know, women should be, you know, working jackhammers and construction workers and doing whatever, right? But the world as a whole has expectations different from women than from men. That's just the reality of it. It'll be like that for forever. So, man, I think that, and I'll break it down for you as well. I think every man should have an income stream that he owns. That could be a business. I recommend it being a business, right? So you need to have one business that you own. A job is cool. I'm not telling you to quit your job. You might love your job, but your job can fire you, or they can just make your life so hard that you quit, right? Or some things outside of your control. Your mom gets sick. This person happens. Your car breaks down. You don't have the money to fix it. You miss too many days. There's so many variables outside of my control and outside of yours that can cause you to lose that job, right? An income stream that you own. If Dre's car breaks down and the mechanic is backed up, he can't get it fixed till next week. Dre not going to say, okay, Dre, you fired because you missed too many days of work this week. All right. And because Dre has his own business, Dre won't even miss out on any money. Okay, well, cool. Well, like, you know, I can make the call to do this and do that and still make this money, right? I'm not just dead in the water until the mechanic can get to my car, right? So you should have one income stream that you own, right? Okay. Next, you should have stock income, right? Stock income. Now, I'm not talking about penny stocks. I'm not talking about high risk speculative stocks. I'm talking about proven stocks. I'm biased to dividends. I'm not telling you this is not investment advice. Like, you got to buy what JT buys, but I love dividends and I love trading. Now, trading is not for most people, right? If you're trying to get rich quick, nah. Like, I know a lot of people make trading exciting. I am down $100 on the day in a trade, right? So trust me, and I'm down $100 in like a minute. Right. So trading is really a skill. It's not gambling, but it's really a skill. It's really an art. It's not something you jump into and think that it's a 50-50 chance of you being right. My mentor has a 80 to 90% win rate. They do on average 30 trades a week. So, and he's been trading. Wow. He's been trading since he was 35. He's now 68. That's what, 33 years, right? So he's been trading for decades. And now, you know, I would say for the last 15 of those years has been at an 80 or better percent win rate. And he does a high volume of trades. So I think everybody should have stock income, not necessarily trading. Look at dividends, right? Look at dividends. And of course, you can consult with whoever you want to help you determine that, right? Me, for example, I got one dividend. I got maybe $9,000 in it. Wow. I didn't start off with $9,000 in it, but it pays like $500-600 a month. I remember staying in the hood where my rent wasn't $500 to $600 a month. So to have $9,000, right, kick out more money than what my rent used to be back when I was renting is amazing, right? And I still have the $9,000. So everybody should have stock income. You should also have real estate income, right? That will give you security. That also give your family security. Since we're talking about men, I hold men to the standard of you got to be able to provide for your family. So that'll give you a way to provide for your family. Your primary residence is cool, but it doesn't contribute to your net worth. So when I say real estate income, I'm talking about a property outside of where you lay your head that cash flows positive to you, right? You can do rental arbitrage if it makes sense in your market, but some sort of real estate income. And the last one, Dre mentioned it earlier, you need to have some sort of MRR, right? You got to have some kind of monthly recurring income. All right.
Absolutely. Yep. Which one do you think people should start with, JT? Let's say that they have none of those outside of the 9 to 5. They're brand new to this world.
Yep. Dividends are the easiest.
Step one.
Yeah, dividends are the easiest to do.
Yeah, I think
right?
so.
You could go find a proven company that pays a dividend, and like you could set it and forget it pretty much, right? And your financial advisor, or the FTC say we can't literally tell you what to invest in, so your financial advisor or whatever will tell you which ones to buy and whatever, right? But for sure, like you can find a good dividend paying stock and jump in that joint. Like I'll tell you what I'm doing now. This is not advice for you to do it, but Tony Robbins, I was in one of his coaching sessions maybe about a year ago or close to a year ago, and he said that if somebody would have taken the same money that it costs to buy an iPhone and bought an Apple stock every year they dropped a new phone, you said, I'm not going to get the new phone, but I'll take that same exact money and buy Apple stock, right? They would have spent maybe 30, 40 grand, right? But they would have had over $100,000 in stock value, right? So my daughter turns 8 in like maybe another month or so. So I'm gonna play catch up. So I'm gonna go by I mean my company, my VA is gonna be like, okay, if I would have bought a new iPhone every year for the past 8 years, how much money would I spend every year? And then on her birthday, I'm gonna take that much money, whatever that is, and I'm gonna buy her Apple stock. And then every year after that, on her birthday, whatever a new iPhone costs that year, of course, she's still going to get birthday gifts because at 8 years old, you don't care about no stocks, right? You want a party. You want cake, right? So she's still going to have a party, but every year, so when she turns 9, I'm going to say, what does a phone cost? If I was to buy her a brand new iPhone today, it would cost X amount of money, and I'm going to move that money, and I'm going to buy her Apple stock. Yep, so little plays like that, easy. So that's why I say dividend stock or just good, solid, appreciating stocks. Because I'm not even sure if Apple pays a dividend or not, but it's just appreciating like crazy. But yeah, dividends are super easy, right? Then I will go into a business that you own. Then just because of the current real estate market, I will go to monthly recurring revenue, and then I would do real estate last because that will probably be the most expensive thing you do. Uh-oh, it might have froze.
Okay, JT, I hear you.
Okay, yep, I'm here. Yep, so that's the order I would do. I would say stocks, a business that you own, some sort of monthly recurring revenue, and then real estate for sure. But yeah, every man should be making money at least 4 different ways. And if you picked up on it, you not doing 4 different jobs. If you got dividends, right? I never clock into the company that I own dividends in. I just get a dividend check every month, right? My real estate, we got a cleaner and all that other great stuff going on. Man, I can go an entire year without ever visiting my real estate. My landscaper goes and does everything on the outside that I need done. My cleaner does everything on the inside, right? So I pay a cleaner, I pay a landscaper, I pay insurance. Airbnb pays me more money than all that stuff costs. So real estate, right? Don't got to go over there. The business that you own, yeah, you're going to have to show up there or hire some people and some software to show up there if you got the money to. And yeah, I think real estate with the current real estate market, but man, yeah, like I've even gotten some gems now. It'll be a whole nother episode, but man, it's people now spending $18,000 to buy houses in South Carolina near a college. They're putting $30,000 in them, so that's $48,000 all in, and then they turn around and sell them for $150,000. So I met a gentleman that's what he does as a business. Matter of fact, he's a general contractor, and he came to me saying, you know what? I have the licenses, I have the crew, but he's been borrowing hard money. So he would borrow the whole 48,000 hard money, and then have to pay back maybe because he says in 45 days he gives the money right back. So he might have to borrow 48, give them back 58. Whoever's giving them the money is like making 10 grand a month. Like, this is great, right? And it's backed by a house that's worth 148. So man, it's plays like that But of course, those plays, they cost more money, right? You got to have 48,000 just to play that game. So I would have it on my list, but probably near the end, right? And everything funnels into that. So your dividend income can contribute to you having the buying power to do that. Your monthly recurring revenue can do that. The business that you own, your 9-to-5 job, right? You can start peeling off a portion of that money to do the real estate plays when they make sense.
I love it. I love it. The great JT&Dre Show. Everyone subscribe. Shout out to the chat. JT, tell people how they can find you, brother.
Man, definitely, man. JT Hustles on Instagram. JT Hustles with a Z. Make sure you got the blue check mark next to it because there's a lot of scam pages. And I'm JT Automations on YouTube. Starting this week, this Thursday, man, we gonna launch a free webinar where we're gonna start teaching people how to grow and monetize their social media. So if you watching this episode and you watch a lot of social media, but you're not getting paid from your social media, come out. It's free, right? We'll drop details probably tomorrow. Once the funnel is ready, to be able to get y'all in there.
All right. I'll see you guys soon, Brother Dre and JT Show. Peace.
Yes, sir.